So this is the just the north side of downtown Knoxville, and this is where you start to get into some of the historic neighborhoods that surround Knoxville. So north, south, and east side have these historic neighborhoods right out from downtown. But if you're thinking about moving to Knoxville, the really important thing is to understand all the different areas. So around downtown, you have these historic areas, and then we're going to go out a little bit further into the suburbs to where some of the newer development is, some of the top shopping areas and things like that. So you understand kind of the layout of Knoxville and everything it has to offer. It's got several lakes. So one lake right in Knoxville, and then several lakes that surround it. You've got the Smoky Mountains, just about 45 minutes that direction. And over to my left and to my right, actually on this road, you can see these historic homes. And out this direction towards the north is kind of where some more historic neighborhoods stretch out that direction. And then we're gonna head to the right, and we're right next to downtown right now. So if you live in this area, you could actually bike to downtown in just a few minutes, or you could walk over there even. So we're heading down Broadway, and downtown is right in front of us. And this is another one of those roads right outside of downtown. You've got K-Brew Coffee Shop over here on the left side. You've got several restaurants and breweries over here in this area. So this is kind of the area right outside of downtown. If you want to live in a historic neighborhood and be able to walk to coffee shops, breweries, restaurants, that kind of stuff, then this is the area that you can find that. But you can actually see downtown coming up right in front of us. So if you live over here in these neighborhoods, you're going to have another restaurant over here to my right. There's a brewery coming up over here on the right side as well. So a lot of stuff that you can walk to, and then you've got downtown just a few minutes away as well. We're coming into the edge of downtown now, and this section of downtown is known as the Old City. And the cool thing about downtown Knoxville is if you are moving from a larger city, this is really going to feel like a small town. So the entire Knoxville metro, the population is around 900,000, a little bit under 900,000. And the city itself is super easy to get in and out of. So coming into downtown, it's really easy to get in. You're not going to deal with much traffic. You're going to be able to come in, enjoy, a restaurant, coffee shop, shopping, whatever it is you want to do. You can come in here, you can find parking. It's literally going to take just a couple minutes to get in here, find parking, and then you can, park and walk all around. So it's cool because it's small enough to have kind of the small town feel. If you're coming from a major city, it's definitely going to have a small town feel, but it's big enough to have quite a bit to do. This is one of the main roads that goes through downtown. And again, you've got a bunch of stuff to do along through here. So, by the way, this is about just like a 5-minute walk from the edge of downtown where we came in. So you could park anywhere through here. You could walk along this street, walk along, through the Old City down there. I mean, you can walk through the entire downtown in 15 minutes or so. But a bunch more stuff along through here. There's some great shopping, great restaurants. So a lot of stuff to do in downtown. Over here on the right, you have Cruise, which is a great local ice cream shop. You've got a bunch of great local restaurants. So for the size of the town, there really is a lot of great stuff to do in the downtown. So that's what a lot of people love. You can get in and out quickly, kind of has that small town feel, but still a lot of cool stuff to do. Up here on the left, you have the Tennessee Theater, which is kind of an iconic landmark in downtown. And then you can see up ahead, there's a couple skyscrapers, but really for the most part, the downtown Knoxville doesn't have a ton of skyscrapers. And then right past those is actually the edge of downtown. So I drove through the whole thing here in just about 3 or 4 minutes. But as you can see, a lot to do. And then there's a cool place. Actually, I'll go over here to the right and show you one of the other cool hangout spots downtown. So as we drive down this little side road here, this is a cool historic hotel on the left side here. But coming up over here on the left is an area called Market Square. And this is a large area just surrounded by different shops and restaurants. But in the middle is a large open space that the city uses for different events. So it's a all walking area. You can't drive through there. But that's an area that the city just uses for, different festivals, farmers markets, different kinds of events for holidays. During the Christmas season, they will have an ice skating rink set up over here. And so all kinds of events that go on down there, but even when there's no event going on, you have all the different stuff to do down there with the shopping and the restaurants. So Market Square is definitely one of the most popular areas, and it's right next to the main road that we were just on. So again, you can walk to all these areas within just a few minutes. All right, so as we come out of downtown, this is the south side, and we get to a bridge that goes across the Tennessee River. So on the other side of the Tennessee River here is South Knoxville, and they're doing a little construction on the bridge that connects directly over, but there's one just a couple minutes down here that we're gonna go over. All right, so this is that other bridge heading over to South Knoxville. Down to the right here is downtown, and then you have the river that we're going over, which is the Tennessee River. So one of the really cool things about Knoxville is you have the Tennessee River that runs right next to downtown, and then you have a bunch of other lakes. So the Tennessee River forms Fort Loudon Lake out west, so we'll see some more lakeside areas out to the west. But you've got a bunch of other lakes in the area, and then straight ahead, if you just keep going this direction for 45 minutes, you're gonna be up in the Smoky Mountains. So the Smoky Mountains is one of the top tourist destinations in the country. It's a beautiful national park, so that's just 45 minutes from here. But one of the really cool things about South Knoxville is this area called the Knoxville Urban Wilderness. So I am literally just about 30 seconds away from that bridge we just crossed, just about 4 or 5 minutes out from downtown. And you get in this huge nature preserve. So this is the very edge of the urban wilderness. Still have this road that drives through here, but you have these trails that go back through the woods over on my right, and there's over 50 miles of hiking and mountain bike trails. And this area just up ahead called Baker Creek is actually a world-class mountain bike area. So the entire Knoxville Urban Wilderness has a bunch of components. It's got the mountain bike area. It has a large nature center called Iams Nature Center. It sits right along the Tennessee River as well. It's got a quarry, and then it has over 50 miles of hiking and mountain bike trails. So this area is super cool. You have neighborhoods just up to the left here. So you can live in one of these neighborhoods and be within walking distance to get on these hiking trails, and within just 5 minutes to get downtown. So if you want to be, if you love kind of the outdoors, hiking, mountain biking, all that kind of stuff, then being in South Knoxville, you can be right next to this huge nature preserve, and then just a few minutes away from downtown as well. And this is a pretty typical neighborhood in South Knoxville. So this is kind of what a lot of the neighborhoods will look like. Home prices in this area typically are going to start in the 200,000 to 300,000. And again, this is one of those areas with older homes that are closer to downtown. These are not quite as historic as the North Knoxville homes that we saw originally, but the homes in here are some of the older ones, some of the more historic areas. And here in a few minutes, we're going to go out towards the west, where there's actually a lot more new development. This is another neighborhood in South Knoxville called Island Home. And one of the things I love about these older neighborhoods is they have the large mature trees. So a lot of the newer developments, they don't have these large mature trees, but these older ones, you have larger lots, more trees, more mature trees. So really makes these older neighborhoods kind of preferable for a lot of people, just because they have the more space and the larger trees. Now, of course, the benefit to going with a newer development is a lot of times you get a floor plan that you like better. You get, of course, less maintenance, and a lot of times you get a little bit of a larger home for less money. But these older neighborhoods are absolutely beautiful, and this one has this boulevard that we're on that runs through the middle. It's got sidewalks everywhere, and this is just a couple minutes away from downtown. So you can have this neighborhood that's really peaceful and quiet, absolutely beautiful. You have the Tennessee River actually right next to this neighborhood as well, and then just a couple minutes from downtown, and then you're just also a couple minutes from the Knoxville Urban Wilderness. So again, South Knoxville here, if you like this style of neighborhood, and if you are a big outdoors person, you want to be close to the urban wilderness and close to downtown, South Knoxville is really an ideal fit. This is a big area of redevelopment in South Knoxville, part of the area that's known as the South Waterfront District, and you have a bunch of really cool things that have come in here recently with new restaurants, new shops. You actually have a cool gym on the left side here. You're gonna have a grocery store up here on the left side here in the next year or so. And so this is right across the river from downtown. You also have a bunch of really cool new townhomes. You can see some townhomes over here on the right side. You have some really nice historic homes through here as well. So you can see the mix of these new townhomes and then these historic homes like the one we're passing. And then you have some nice new apartment buildings along through here as well. And then you can see the river up here in front of us, and you have a really nice park that runs along the river. And then just across from here is downtown. So this is a cool area of redevelopment right next to downtown. And it's in South Knoxville. So really nice new townhomes and condos and apartments. And then it's actually a walkable area. Right now it has the restaurants and the different entertainment stuff. And then in the near future, it's actually gonna have a grocery store. So it's kind of gonna be a true walkable area, which there are not very many of those in Knoxville. This is one of them. And then the North Knoxville area where we were to start out with, really the only two areas in Knoxville that are actually walkable. All right, we're gonna head out to West Knoxville now. But as we head out, so downtown is right behind me, and the first thing you come to as you head out to the west is the University of Tennessee. So you can see Neyland Stadium over here on the right side, and Neyland Stadium holds over 100,000 people. And so as you can imagine, football game days in Knoxville, it is absolutely packed down here. So people always ask, is Knoxville a college town? And the reality is, on game days, you're not going to be able to avoid, the atmosphere. And by the way, you have the basketball arena over here on the right side, Thompson Bowling, and then you have baseball up here on the right as well. But on game days, if you're around the downtown area, you're not going to be able to avoid it. But most of the other time, if you live out in the suburbs, or even if you live downtown, the university is kind of over here. It's isolated. It's a large university, but it's kind of isolated over here, so you don't have to worry about it too much. But the cool thing is, if you're a football fan or a basketball fan or baseball or anything, it's a cool thing to have here in Knoxville, since it's not a big enough city to have any professional teams. Although you do have a minor league baseball team, the Knoxville Smokies, and they have a brand new stadium actually right downtown. So that's cool. But Knoxville's not big enough to have any professional teams, but having the University of Tennessee right here is actually pretty cool if you're a sports fan. Before we get out into West Knoxville, if you're wondering who I am, my name is Forrest McCullough, and my real estate team has helped hundreds of people make the move to Tennessee. And I hope that this video is super helpful for you to learn more about the Knoxville area, and maybe figure out if Knoxville would be a good fit for you, what part of Knoxville would be a good fit for you. But if you want my team to actually give you personalized recommendations on areas that could be the best fit for you, the easiest way to connect with us is to simply book a Zoom call with us. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen here and book a Zoom call, or there will be a link down in the description that you can click on to book a Zoom call. That'll just take you to a web page where you choose a day and time that works for you, or you can shoot us a text at the number on the screen here if that's easiest. Whatever's easiest for you, shoot us a text, scan the QR code, or click the link, and we can actually hear exactly what you're looking for, what you're envisioning in your next community and next home, and we can give you recommendations for the best fit. And if Knoxville or somewhere else in Tennessee would be the best fit, we cover a lot of different areas around Tennessee, then my team would love to help you make the move to Tennessee. So if that sounds like it would be helpful for you, scan the QR code, click the link, or just shoot us a text at the number on the screen. This neighborhood is called Sequoia Hills, and this is one of the first neighborhoods that you come to on the west side of Knoxville. And as I said, there's a lot of new development further west, but this is one of the historic neighborhoods of West Knoxville. And it's really an absolutely beautiful neighborhood. You have homes in here, really in the whole West Knoxville area, that start, for the most part, a little bit more expensive than South Knoxville. So especially this neighborhood, this is actually one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the area. And I'll kind of show you some of the reasons for that. But homes in here, for the most part, are going to start in the 500,000s for a pretty small home. Like a 2-bedroom home could be 500,000 in here. And then there's going to be homes up, 5-6 million. So it's a really cool mix of historic homes, and even the homes that are going to be in that lower price range are really well kept up, beautiful historic homes. And you're going to have some really large estate homes. You're going to have homes, on really large lots, 7, 8, 9,000 square foot homes. So this is a really beautiful area. It actually has this walking trail that runs through the boulevard. So you can see out to my left, you have this boulevard with the walking trail that runs through it. So this is the main road that runs through Sequoia Hills. And this actually sits right along the Tennessee River as well. So you have Sequoia Park right along the river. You have this walking trail. And this is a huge community. So there's a ton of homes in here. And if you live in here, this is going to be a really convenient area to come down and walk. This is, miles and miles of trails through here, and just an absolutely beautiful neighborhood. So if you want that more historic suburb feel, then Sequoia Hills is one of the top places to be able to get that. So heading a little bit further out into West Knoxville, one of the other things to mention is, South Knoxville has that huge urban wilderness, that huge nature preserve, but West Knoxville also has some really nice parks. So you saw Sequoia Park and Sequoia Hills just a second ago. Lakeshore Park over here to my left is also an incredible park in West Knoxville. Miles of paved greenway, and then, all kinds of things like soccer fields, baseball fields, pickleball courts, a bunch of playgrounds. So, really nice parks in West Knoxville, in addition to the historic neighborhoods and then the newer development that is further out. So you'll continue to see even some more of these parks. And then as we head a little bit further out, we're going into kind of the area that starts to have some newer development. But as you can see, even driving along one of these main roads out here, it still has kind of just a really pretty setting. You've got trees everywhere. So even on one of these main roads, it's still a really pretty drive. And turning off this road into one of the other kind of historic suburbs, you get more of these, historic homes that have just a ton of character, but you also have a lot of space over here. So if you want that kind of historic suburb feel, West Knoxville is going to be one of the places where you have those really pretty old neighborhoods with the large lots, the mature trees. So this one here is called Westmoreland, and you have, obviously over here to my left, you've got some brand new homes. So a lot of times in these historic neighborhoods, some of the homes will get torn down, you'll get, new homes built, but for the most part in these neighborhoods, these are going to be historic homes, just really well kept up in really pretty areas. And you can see some more examples of these more historic homes over here to my left, and then over here on my right, these homes have these huge lots. So, you can get a ton of space out here. And by the way, you're also really close to some of the largest shopping developments. So that's one of the other things about West Knoxville. It's got a lot more development than the other sides. So a lot more housing development, and then a lot more shopping, dining, all that kind of stuff. So you can be in an area like Westmoreland here or Sequoia Hills back there, have a really quiet, peaceful setting, and still be super convenient to get over into those shopping areas just about 5 minutes away. So I'm heading out into really what I think is one of the coolest parts of West Knoxville. This area is just a few minutes away from those neighborhoods that we were just in, just a few minutes away from the really developed area with a ton of shopping, a ton of dining options. And out here, you have a ton of space. You can see the road I'm driving on now is just surrounded by woods, and a lot of the homes through here sit on really large pieces of property. A lot of them are at least an acre. Some of them are much larger than that. So you have a ton of privacy. And then you also have lakeside communities out here. So you'll have homes that sit along the lake, but really just a ton of privacy. So it's a super quiet area. But the thing that's really cool about it is it's really quiet, but you're still just about 10 minutes away to get into the more developed parts of town. This is one of the neighborhoods that's off that road I was just on. This one's called Harrison Keep. And you can see the homes in here sit on large lots, tons of privacy. And this is right on the Tennessee River as well. So you have some homes that will sit right on the river, and then the rest of them, even if you're not on the river, you have tons of space, tons of privacy. It has this boulevard that runs through the middle. So I love this area because it is so quiet and so private, but it's still really convenient to get over, like I said, into the more developed areas. So if you want to have tons of quiet, tons of privacy, but still be in a super convenient area, then this section of Knoxville is really one of the top areas to be able to get that. This is one of the main roads that runs out into West Knoxville. It's called North Shore, and a ton of the neighborhoods are off this road. So if you live in West Knoxville in one of these neighborhoods, this is going to be one of the main roads that you take. So there's going to be a little bit along this road as far as grocery stores. There's Kroger, Publix, Target, stuff like that along North Shore here. So you can live in these neighborhoods, get out on this 2-lane road, go to all those different things. And then if you want to get over to the more developed area. Of course, you got to get out on the highway and stuff like that. But this is the main road. If you live in these neighborhoods, you don't have to get out on the main highway. You can just take this road and really get to, like I said, everything you need on a weekly basis is going to be off this road right here. This is one of the neighborhoods right off North Shore called Whittington Creek. And this is, as we get further out west, you're going to see more of these neighborhoods that are a little bit newer. You can see on the sign there, this one was developed back in 1995. So, definitely not a brand new neighborhood, but there's a lot of these neighborhoods that were developed back in the 90s and early 2000s that are kind of a sweet spot for some people, because as you can see around, there's tons of mature trees, tons of mature landscaping. So they're old enough to where the trees have matured, the landscaping has matured, but they're not so old that you're buying a truly historic home that can come along with just the maintenance issues that come along with a true historic home. So that's what a lot of the neighborhoods in West Knoxville you're going to find are. We saw the ones that were more historic, but then you're going to find a lot that were kind of built back in that 90s era, where you get these nice homes that are well made, still not too much deferred maintenance or anything like that, but you still have the mature landscaping and the large trees. So the other thing about these newer neighborhoods built back in the 90s is they're a little bit more typically walkable. You're going to have a lot of times walking trails and things like that through them. So this one has tennis courts and pickleball courts, a community pool. So a lot of the newer ones will have some amenities like that built into them as well. So this is one of the kind of typical neighborhoods built back in the 90s era for West Knoxville. And as we head even a little bit further out, you'll see some more brand new neighborhoods. So if you're looking for brand new development, there are actually quite a few options that are in this area, and then quite a few options over towards the north as you get out towards the north suburbs. So, there's a lot of new development going on in Knoxville, which a lot of people prefer the new development because you get a brand new home. You don't have any kind of deferred maintenance to worry about. You get a floor plan that is typically a little bit more suitable to, what most people want nowadays. But there are a lot of people that prefer these more established neighborhoods, and I hear it from people every day. You want the mature trees, you want the landscaping, the greenery around, you want a little bit of a larger lot. So those are kind of some of the trade-offs. A lot of people want the brand new home. A lot of people want these more mature neighborhoods, and West Knoxville is going to offer a mix of both of those. So this is North Shore Town Center, and this is the largest commercial development off North Shore. Like I said, there's a Target up here, there's a Publix that are both over here towards the right. Over here towards my left, you have some restaurants, a great coffee shop, and then straight ahead here, you'll actually get into the neighborhoods that are walkable to this area. So you have the North Shore Town Center neighborhoods, all of the shopping, the restaurants and everything. And if you live anywhere on North Shore, like I said, you can get over to this area to get to Target, to get to Publix, to get to, there's a bunch of stuff, different restaurants, Chick-fil-A, a lot of stuff over here. So you can hop on North Shore, get over here. You never have to get out on like the true main highway, and you're really not going to have to deal with a whole lot of traffic either. Now, I know somebody that's local in Knoxville is going to watch this video and comment and say that the traffic is horrible in Knoxville now. The reality is it's worse than it used to be for sure, but it's still not very bad. You might add an extra 5 minutes, if you're trying to drive around during rush hour, but unless you hit a wreck or something like that, it's not bad. So all these neighborhoods over in West Knoxville that we've seen, you can get to an area like this with a ton of conveniences and not have to worry about getting out on the interstate or one of the bigger highways. So continuing to head out North Shore here, and you can see over to my left is Fort Loudon Lake, and this lake is pretty much within just a couple minutes of North Shore the entire way we're driving out here. So all these neighborhoods that are off the side of North Shore are going to be within just a few minutes to get over to this lake. And we just passed one of the large marinas. So there are boat launches. There's a large marina just over here to the right where you can keep your boat. There's another marina a little bit further down this way. So if you want to have access to the lake, there's parks along the lake, there's boat launches, there's marinas. So you can utilize this lake, and you're going to be within probably 5 to 10 minutes in most of these neighborhoods. Really, no matter where you live in Knoxville, you're going to be within probably 20 minutes to get to one of these lakes. This is another neighborhood off North Shore, and this is one of the newer neighborhoods. So most of the homes in here are fairly new, but there's also still homes under construction. There's still some home sites. You can see home site available to the right here. But this is kind of what some of these newer neighborhoods in West Knoxville look like. You know, the lots are a little bit smaller. You don't have quite as many trees. You still have this boulevard in the middle with a walking trail. So still very nice, but you don't have the mature trees and the mature landscaping like with the older neighborhoods. And Jefferson Park is also right on the lake. So these homes right in front of me and to the right sit right on the lake. So you can have your own private boat dock. Again, if you live in this neighborhood, you're just a few minutes away from the marina down the street, but you also have you have a little private marina in this neighborhood, and then you have these homes that sit right on the lake. So one of the things that a lot of people love about the Knoxville area is all of the lakes. And, you know, like I said a minute ago, you can enjoy it from wherever you are, but if you want to be right on the lake, you have neighborhoods like Jefferson Park here that sit on the lake. You can have a home that's lakefront. You can get the view. You can have your own private boat dock. So, you know, Jefferson Park is just one of the many neighborhoods in the area where you can get a true lakefront home. Over here in West Knoxville, there's a town called Farragut. So this is on the far west side of Knox County, but the town of Farragut is its own town. So it has a little bit of a different feel than the rest of Knoxville, but it is very similar to the other parts of West Knoxville. You have a huge park over here out to the left called McPhee Park with ball fields, tennis courts, pickleball courts, walking trail, splash pad. So Farragut has some really nice parks. You have a neighborhood over here to the right built by Saddlebrook Properties, which is one of the builders that builds a lot of the homes in this area. So brand new homes in this area, really nice neighborhoods. One of the cool things is in Farragut, there's a greenway system that runs throughout almost the entire town. So a lot of the other parts of Knoxville are gonna have greenways as well, but those are usually a little more isolated. So you might have to walk a good distance to get to the greenway, or a lot of times even drive to get to it. So a lot of parts of Knoxville, you're gonna have to actually get in the car and drive to a park to get to a greenway. Whereas in Farragut, this greenway, I mean, you have a greenway right here next to this road, and then that greenway connects through the parks. It connects directly to a lot of the neighborhoods. So actually when the developers build new neighborhoods in here, they're required to connect that greenway to them. So that's one of the things about Farragut. You've got the really nice parks, the greenway that connects everywhere. As you can see, driving along this road, there's a lot of open space, but it's still, there's quite a bit of housing development in here as well. And as you'll see in a minute, it has Turkey Creek, which is the largest shopping development in the entire area. So we'll go through there in a minute. But then you have neighborhoods like over here to the left that are pretty unique. This one's called Bridgemore. Bridgemore is one of the custom home neighborhoods. So you're gonna have home sites in here that are quite a bit larger than most of the other neighborhoods. Homes in here are gonna be quite a bit larger as well. So, you know, this is one of the neighborhoods, if you want to build a custom home, you know, buy a lot and build a custom home. This is actually one of the few in the area where you have lots still available, but really pretty neighborhood. You know, it has this water feature that runs through the middle here out to my left with this boulevard. So absolutely beautiful. And this is right in Farragut. So just a few minutes away from the shopping development that we're going to go to in a few minutes. So, you know, one of the things about Farragut, in addition to the parks and the greenway, is the convenience to all the shopping. So we'll go check that out, because that is, you know, the Turkey Creek area is, honestly, it's literally the biggest shopping area in all the Knoxville area. So if you live in Farragut, it's pretty close by. But a lot of people, even if you live in other parts of the city, you're going to drive over to this area to get to some of the things that are here. We're out here on Kingston Pike now, and this is the main highway that runs all the way from downtown out through West Knoxville. And there's going to be a lot of stuff along this highway. So, you know, when I talk about being on the main highway, this is one of them. Then you have the interstate, of course, just a few minutes away from here. But there is a ton of stuff along Kingston Pike. So anything from all your healthcare needs, all the shopping options you could possibly need. Costco is just up here on the left. So the one Costco in the Knoxville area is right off this road, just up here on the left. A ton of other stuff. So this is kind of what that main road is like. You know, if you're wondering, you know, if really getting out into the big shopping areas and stuff like that in Knoxville, what's it going to look like? This is pretty much it right here. And this is just the middle of the afternoon on a weekday. So you can see traffic is not too bad. And then, like I said, during rush hour, it does get worse, but it's not too bad. You know, typically say that your time to get out to the store was going to take 10 minutes. During rush hour, it might be 15. So really not too much of a difference. So this is Turkey Creek that we're pulling into right now. And like I said, this is the largest shopping area for all of Knoxville. You've got 50 different retailers, 50 different dining options, over 50 different for both of those actually. So there's a ton of stuff here. It's actually, this road right here is over 2 miles long, and either side is just lined with, you know, shops, restaurants. You have everything from Target and Walmart to smaller things that are more local to Knoxville. Of course, you have, you know, the large movie theater. You have a Topgolf actually right across the street here. It's not in Turkey Creek, but it's right across from Turkey Creek. So there's a ton of stuff to do here, and this is right on the corner of Farragut. So it's in West Knoxville. So like I said, if you live in West Knoxville, you're gonna have pretty close access to this area, plus all the other shopping areas and all the other entertainment and dining options along Kingston Pike. So if you wanna be in the area that has the most conveniences for all those things, then West Knoxville or Farragut is gonna be the top choice for you. And by the way, if you live in Farragut, you might just say you live in West Knoxville. It's kind of considered part of West Knoxville, but it is, like I said, its own distinct town. So Turkey Creek is just one of the components of everything that West Knoxville has to offer, but definitely a big part of it. There's an area right next to Farragut called Hardin Valley, and this road that I'm on right now is actually the back way to get from Turkey Creek to Hardin Valley. And Hardin Valley is a suburb that has a ton of new development, a ton of new neighborhoods in it. So if you're looking for a new home, Hardin Valley is one of the top areas to be able to get it. And you have this road that connects directly to Turkey Creek. So we're coming into Hardin Valley right now. You can see one of the grocery stores in Hardin Valley right in front of me here, but you can actually get to Turkey Creek in just about 5 minutes that direction. So one of the things about Hardin Valley, you have a bunch of new developments with new homes. So if you're looking for a new home, you know, this is a great place to get it. But it's also, the prices are a little bit lower than over in Farragut. So you can have, you know, a brand new home, get prices that are a little bit lower, but still be just 5 minutes away to get over to Turkey Creek. So Hardin Valley Road runs right through the middle here. You have a grocery store over here to the left. You have the Hardin Valley Schools over here to the left as well. And then you have all these new neighborhoods off this road. You're gonna have homes anywhere from the 400,000s. A lot of them are gonna be in the 600 to 800 range. And then there are quite a few that are gonna be in the 800 to $1 million range. But anywhere from 400 to $1 million, a lot of homes in that range. And just a really convenient area to be able to get a new home, be just 5 minutes away to Turkey Creek, have the grocery store, and a lot of other stuff up here in Hardin Valley as well. And then you have another lake that's actually just about 10 minutes that direction. So really convenient to another lake with a nice park out there, and still convenient to get over to Turkey Creek. And this is the more commercial area of Hardin Valley. So you've got a Chick-fil-A over here on the right side. You actually have a bunch of restaurants through here, a lot of more fast food type, and then a lot of sit-down restaurants as well. You're gonna have some healthcare options. You're gonna have a lot of different stuff that you kind of need on a weekly basis. So grocery stores, everything like that. And then really convenient to get over to Farragut as well. But this is kind of a fairly small commercial area right now, but this area is obviously continuing to grow. All right, I am heading over towards the north side of Knoxville, and this community that I'm in is called Powell, and there's quite a bit of development going on here as well. I mean, you can see over here to my right, a new commercial development. Over here to my left, a new housing development. And this is all part of a new mixed-use development over here on the north side. But the thing that I want to point out about the north side over here is you have quite a bit of new development and a lot to offer compared to the south or the east side. But like I mentioned, the west side definitely has the most to offer. So we saw, you know, all of the new development over on the west side, along with all of the commercial developments. So the north side, compared to that, has a lot of new developments like this new housing development that I'm in here. And it also has, just down the road from here, it has a large commercial development where you have a hospital, you have a bunch of shopping options, dining options. And by the way, the east and the south side, they do not have a hospital, but the north and the west side do have a hospital. And then, like I said, north and the west side have a lot of other options. So the north side has a lot to offer, just not as much as the west side. But the thing to know about that comes along with it is home prices are going to be lower on this side. So for example, homes in this community, you can find a lot of these in the 400,000s. So I mentioned in Hardin Valley, they have that one community with homes that start in the 400,000s, but for the most part, over on the west side, almost everything is going to be in the 500,000s and usually in the 600,000 to 700,000s for new construction. But over here in Powell, you're going to have a lot of options, even starting in the 300,000s. So 300,000 and 400,000 is going to be a lot more options over here. So if you want to look in that price range for a new construction home, and you still want a lot of the modern conveniences, then Powell is going to be a great way to go. All right, guys, I hope this video has been helpful for you. Again, this is just a brief overview of everything that Knoxville has to offer, but hopefully this has just given you a better understanding for the layout of Knoxville, whether or not Knoxville could be a good fit for you, and if so, what part of Knoxville could be the best fit. So I hope it's been helpful. If you want my team to actually help you evaluate all these different areas one-on-one, feel free to book a call with us. If you're ready to make the move, feel free to book a call so we can help you with that move. The easiest way to do that is to scan the QR code here or click the link down in the description. Or if it's easier for you, simply send us a text at the number on the screen here and we'll get right back to you. Looking forward to connecting with you. Other than that, I will see you on the next video.